Last night I went to a concert and it got me thinking, we treat celebrities a certain way. Um, do we treat God the same way we treat celebrities? And what would it look like if we did? It might sound like heresy, but let me break this down. So I got into the VIP section for the concert last night. And what that looks like is you got to get there early, and then there's a Q&A time, and then there's a meet and greet time. So you can, it's not really meet and greet, but they say meet and greet. But you get like 20 seconds to just get your picture with the person, right? So, first of all, you have to show up with extra time, and then we get into this question and answer. And I've been to a couple of these, and I've noticed a pattern, and it says question and answer, which makes me think like, okay, what question do I want to ask? I work really hard on having something that's like not a cheesy question, something that's not like overly personal, because then I don't want them to think I'm trying to figure out like their passwords or something, but also not something super generic that it's like, oh, if you like followed them for half a second or even saw anything, you would already know that answer. So I work really hard on my questions. But what I've noticed is I feel like people ask a lot of stupid questions. And they're just stupid to me. They're not stupid to the people on stage, because the people on stage are always so gracious. And I'm over here like, that's the best you could come up with. Now, full disclosure, I have not actually asked a question because I spend too much time thinking about what question I want to ask. I have raised my hand a few times because I got the question, then I don't get picked, which makes me kind of feel like I'm back in school. Anyways, I applaud those people because they were brave enough to ask, and I didn't. I just sat there and enjoyed watching what was going on. But they got to converse with the celebrity, and I watched. So they might not be that stupid of questions. But anyways, people ask questions. And then the other part of that is they won't ask a question. Oh, I don't actually have a question. I have a statement or I have a comment. And it's like, this is how you impacted my life. Or this song really spoke to me when I was going through this point in my life. Or your song was on the radio when like my baby was born. You know, like something that is personal to people. And we all have personal stories with music because music is what, you know, it's great. But yeah, I go in thinking question and answer, and about 50%, if not more, is more, let me just tell you how you've impacted my life because of what you've done. And that's not wrong. I just don't think those are questions. And so if we want to call it casual conversation with celebrity, that would be okay too. But anyways, or, you know, when you get to meet somebody, maybe in semi-public setting, and you see somebody you know, and it's like you go up and like, hey, I know you from this, that, and the other thing, you know, whatever. It's really exciting. That happened to me a couple months ago. I was at an event and I saw somebody that I'd grown up watching. They have podcasts now, and I was like, hey, I just want to let you know, like, I love how real you guys are on your podcast, and that it gives me hope to share Jesus with people. And he was like, all right, well, come on, let's take a picture. And I was like, I get a picture too? What? I didn't ask. So that was really cool. That was me fangirling. Another time I fangirled with a celebrity was I got to do laugh tracks in college for TV series. So you go and sit in the audience and you get to watch them. You never get seen, but like, ha ha ha, if you heard me, I was that person laughing in a couple of those TV shows from the 2000s-ish. Anyways, one night they're doing autographs, and so I have the little program for the episode we're watching that night, and I go up and see the actor that like I've grown up watching, and I'm like, I had no words. I don't know why I had no words. It was really weird. And then the other guy that's an actor, like, talked to him. It wasn't weird, but it's because he wasn't a big actor. Now he is, but, you know, it was easy to talk to him. And I'm like, is this what starstruck feels like? I don't know. And then you get to the car, and me and my friends are like, oh, why didn't I say that? I wish I would have just said that. But it happens. So, anyways, we get weird because we're excited to meet these people, because all of a sudden they become real. And then it's, you know, people ask questions because they want to know, like, what is the real you like? I see you on TV, but what are you really like out here? What's your life like? And then it's like, ooh, who do they vote for? What do they think about this? What do they think about that? And then, like, you love them more or you hate them, because that's the world we live in right now. But we want to know the real them. And that's when it hit me of, like, do we know the real God? Like, we love watching behind the scenes and interviews and all these things. Do we do that with God? Do we show up early, or do we show up with extra time? So we're not just showing up on a Sunday, we're showing up every day of the week or when we don't feel like it. But it's like, I'm really excited to spend time with you, God, because I want to tell you how you've impacted my life. Like, remember that one thing you did, God? That was so cool because it put me in this place, and then everything that is super great, followed through. Like, we went through this time, it was really hard, and God, you did this, and I'm just so thankful that that happened. Do we ask him questions? Do we get to tell him about the impact that he has on our life? And the cool thing is like, he already knows us, so it's not like somebody sitting on stage that doesn't know you hearing these things. He knows us, and so he gets to celebrate in it too. Oh yeah, I remember when I did that. That's how I imagine the conversation would go. And then it's, what does the behind the scenes look like? Like, we read behind the scenes. This is the scene. This is the playwright. I don't even know. But, you go into Genesis 1, and it's, in the beginning, God created. Well, that's behind the scenes, because in the beginning, like, nothing existed, and then he created it. John 1, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. Through him, all things were made. Without him, nothing was made that has been made. So, like, behind the scenes. In Daniel, when Daniel's having one of the interactions, and it's like, oh, the angel shows him, is like, I was caught up over here, like, behind the scenes, things that happen in the spiritual realm, behind the scenes. Like, do we study that? Do we look for that? Do we look at how God is at play in our life, even when we don't realize it, Do we give him extra time? Do we tell him the impact he's had on us? What does it look like to ask him questions and actually hear his answers? Or do we just sit and talk to him the whole time and not listen during our conversations with him? Because conversations are a two-way street, and he's a big boy. He's a big God. He's spirit. He can handle it. So if we just give him our laundry list, okay, great. He's gonna honor that. But do we sit time to be like, God, you are so great. This is so awesome. Like, this is great. Now, and one of the things you might get hung up on is like, okay, celebrities exist. God's kind of like, we don't see him. He's not there. He's there, but he's not there. And I would argue that in the sense of like, celebrities aren't there either. Like, you just see pictures and videos of them all the time. What does a picture or video of God look like? Looks like going outside and smelling the flowers, or taking in the sight of the mountains or the ocean or the birds singing, or even just not even leaving your house. You can stay inside your house. Deep breath. Like, God designed that. The oxygen has to go in, it has to hit the lungs and hit the blood, and then it goes throughout the whole body. Like, that's God's design at work. Like, we see what he has done daily. And that's huge, because it's like, oh my gosh, it's all around us. What does that look like? So that was just my thought at the concert, and kind of my challenge is, do we give God the extra time? Do we tell him the impact that he has in our life? Are we excited to get to know him and ask him questions more about who he is and what he's done, and know his thoughts? Or is it just one-sided of, God, you serve me? So there's that. Remember, there is no secret sauce. There is no secret formula. It's just one step at a time. And that's how we follow God.